Welcome. This is Anadufu Show. My guest today is international journalist. Now let's be back to the second part of our program. The very important reports you have had were in the continent Africa, includes the Erecha festivity of the Oromo.
Yes.
How can you explain Erecha? Because I watched your news for 3-4 years, and it was amazing. The angles you took were amazing. How did you get that?
I'm sure our audience will have the privilege of watching what you've seen while I'm talking about all of these things, Anwar. You see, as people of this country, and especially as people of Oromo, we have this robust identity. The Gada system is one of the oldest systems of democracy, unity, togetherness, fair leadership, and so. Before even the world woke up from hundreds and hundreds of years of sleeping in the dungeons of Europe and America, by now the United States, the Oromos were exercising that with no problems. It was like walking in a park for them, because it's been enshrined in the culture, the daily activities. The people of Oromo have delivered that, and it was supposed to be used for the rest of the world to be an example. Instead of connoting the term democracy from Greece, perhaps it should have been connoted from Gada itself. Gadacracy.
By the way, I dubbed Gadacracy. No,
Gadacracy.
I said
exactly.
That's the same idea. Okay.
That's what it is. I've always argued about this, because in Africa, our problem is we're not magnifying our assets, which came from us in the first place, originated, could be an idea or practice. And Gada is like that. Be it as it may, it will not take away the glory of the system we have in this country. And out of that, we find the Erecha. The Erecha is not about having different religion or faith. It's a thanksgiving. It is what you tell Waka, that you've done so and so for us. We've passed the darkness, and the rainy season has passed, and now we're coming to a blossoming era, a new beginning, yet another new beginning, and we're going to see sun shining here and there. It's also a reflection of internal prosperity, not only physical prosperity. So what more honor do you want than reporting this kind of cultural achievement? So my angles, by the way, come from the motivation of my own people. My father raised me through the same Gada system. Chala was one of the people who loved to attend the Erecha celebrations, my mother too, when Gilama is her name. She with no problem took the name.
The name of your birthplace.
My birthplace and my mom's name are the same. How glorious she's become. By the way, it's also a reflection of pride to be named by the place we were born. So the Gada system generally, Erecha particularly, have some kind of Porsche, thinking in my head, and I've developed that when I was, coming out of the shanty places of Wenji, the humble beginning, to where I am right now. So it's more of...
To the top of Media House and the top of Beijing.
Exactly. So it's like paying back now.
Sure.
Trying to show the world what I've passed through. So that's what it is.
The Erecha festival is one important reflection of the robust Oromo practice preserved inside the oldest democratic Gada system. This year's Irecha celebrations were entirely peaceful. As you can see, people have enjoyed their participation in the festival. Also looking forward to next year's grand celebration. Girum, Chala, CGTN, Bishoftu.
Somebody or your house, your media house, sends you back to Liberia. Whom do you want to find? Because I watched the news you aired, that's why I asked you this question.
I mean, I'm sure again you're going to show what you've seen.
Absolutely.
Liberia, the time I went there, it was not really a pleasant situation for them. No country, by the way, wants to be in that kind of situation. Death was everywhere because of the Ebola outbreak in that country and the region itself, in Guinea and Sierra Leone and others as well. When a country is in a darkness, you can imagine how a day-to-day activity of the nation can be disrupted. We went there, everything was really gloomy, as I might say. As a nation, you lose hope. By the way, when a nation loses hope, it means that nobody cares. But Liberians are strong people. Liberians have passed through a lot. They are perhaps arguably the second uncolonized people.
Next to Ethiopia.
Next to Ethiopia. Their lives also are a reflection of the struggles they have passed through. So this one was one of them. As any nation passed through trouble, they were facing that. So I was reporting, of course, what happened, what is happening, the death reported because of the Ebola outbreak, the stories that, the stories, those broke my heart, honestly. To see a place where people have died and being removed and replaced by another patient who is expectedly going to die.
No bright future is seen in the report of others.
Yeah, there's no medicine that you can rely on, no vaccination, or you have to, because what they used to do is they only give medicine and try to address the symptoms.
And quarantine, a kind of...
That's what it is. They do not give you medicine for the virus. They give you medicines if you're bleeding, then they will address that. If you're coughing, they will address that. They do not address, they did not have the means or the scientific methodology to address the bigger problem of the Ebola virus itself. So it's a matter of life and death, and mostly it's a matter of death, because people are going to die. For me, it was a huge risk to take, to go there.
Yep.
And avail myself in a very hospital where people are dying, where I was. It was a bold move, and actually my mother called me, "You're not only crazy, but you're reckless." You want to die? Yeah, okay, that's crazy, I understand. You're brave like your father, that's good, but you're reckless. Because I have a daughter, she was so small by then, and I'm leaving her and all of my family behind. So, but that's a cause I chose. This is to serve. My profession is to serve the people of my country, the people of Africa and the rest of the world. This is what a journalist is supposed to do. And there is also this thing called responsibility with the profession that you have. So all in all, we've reported. It wasn't easy. It was a difficult journey, full of experience, of course. And by the way, Anwar, that's one of the those stories that I've done. That's one of the experience that I am so much proud of.
I loved that,
Yeah.
that news, by the way. That's why I asked you.
Yeah. By the way, many international houses, media houses that is, they did not send a reporter down in Liberia, Guinea, or Sierra Leone.
Because they don't want the risk.
Nobody, no big media house, for example, except one or maybe two. The rest of them were scared, and they said, understandably why. Coming to the lighter part of the story that you've, I'm sorry to mention the whole of this thing, but it will give
experience for even our journalists. That's why I've raised that issue.
Yeah. So, but then again, as a journalist, you don't only talk about the gloomy side of a country. Like I said, Liberians are strong people. They come together to fight, and they fought and won the war against the Ebola virus. But then again, in that darkness, you see, it's about angle now. In that darkness, you see a story of hope, excuse me, a story of hope, where inspirations come from maybe a little boy, as you've seen. His name was Babeti, I remember. And I saw him, I was interviewing this bike maker, and then I see him, he came and got his ball inflated and started playing ball. While at the same time, people are not supposed to be on the streets, out and about, because you might contract the virus in any case.
Yeah.
By shaking hands, you never know. Or you just push somebody, you're sweating and something like that, but the boy never cared. You see, out of all that darkness, it's like the sun is rising out of that cloud.
Early in the morning.
Yes. You see, this is why you say sunshine is compared to hope. Because the darkness leaves, you know, in the sun. She comes and pushes away. Go away from here. I'm here now.
I dominate the environment. I shine.
That's what it is. So the boy, you see, the sun, compared to the big sky and cloud, the sun is small. But then again, she takes over. That's what it is. The boy was an example of a sun shining in that darkness. He was just walking around, playing football with a lot of liberty.
Yeah, roadside.
And I said, this is it.
Even you played with him.
Yeah, this is it. This is the story. And I have asked him, hey, what do you want to be? I want to be like George Weah, the only African strong player that we knew for a long time, who is now the president of the country.
Yep.
And I'm proud to tell that story by then. So we've told the story through the boy. And to answer your question, I would like to see Babeti again.
Babeti again back in Monrovia, the capital of Liberia.
Yes.
Now that things are getting back to normal and the agonizing story of Ebola is being forgotten day by day, even boys like Babeti aspire to be professional footballers out of this beautiful country. The hope is the future will be as bright as today. Girum, Chala, CCTV, Monrovia.
You faced a kind of challenge in the jungle of Central Africa, I heard. Because I watched one Amharic program on which you were interviewed, and it's amazing. But I would like to make our audiences even hear that challenge you passed through in the equatorial rainforest. In geography, we say the equatorial rainforest area it is, in the Central African Republic, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. Well, the story goes, there is a mission, the African Union mission, in the fight against the Lord's Resistance Army.
That fights against the government of Uganda?
Well, the government of Uganda is in the fight, of course, with the rest of the countries in the region. It's a rebel group which comes exactly from Uganda, a particular person called Joseph Kony, who has a group that kills, rapes, evicts people, loots at the same time. It's a rebel group which is against the government of the Ugandan government, still in power. And then that scourge broke out to the rest of the region, affecting many of the countries from South Sudan to the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Central African Republic, and even beyond that. And Sudan, by the way, as well, northern part of it and western part of it. So the African Union had a mission, or still is also operating there, in this region, in the fight against the Lord's Resistance Army. And we're asked to go inside the jungles you've been talking about and see how the fight is being undertaken, in the war zone, that is. So I said, the crazy me said, what's that? Why not? Let's do this.
Is that your first experience to report a war zone?
No, not necessarily. We've done a bit of South Sudan. We've done a bit of Somalia. Something like, I've done Cote d'Ivoire during the crisis after Laurent Gbagbo was toppled. But this is also a graduated form of war in the jungles. You've rightly said how the environment you are in affects your life. So the jungle itself is war. Nature itself challenges you, and then add bullets and whatnot into the story. And then we went. We started from DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, where there is a military base, and we went across by choppers to the South Sudan, where also there are fighters. Then the Central African Republic, walking through the jungles, doing this and that. That was a wonderful story to tell for a viewer watching the stories at home, but for us it's another story. You don't eat on time, you don't drink on time, you're always under a huge fear because you never know the ambush is going to happen.
You become soldier yourself.
You're a soldier, you are supposed to sit inside an armored car. If you're not sitting there, some sniper might snatch your head away from you. And
that could be a news event.
And you will not live to tell the story. You are there to tell a story, but you will not live to tell your own story. Yeah. I did not have a cameraman. I'm a reporter, a producer, and a cameraman myself.